You're listening to Chasing Prophecy Radio, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. On UPRN Talk Radio FM 107.7 in New Orleans and FM 105.3 in Mississippi.
If it's unexplainable, we're talking about it.
Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, we cover everything where the unknown becomes the known. And now, here are your hosts, Jenny Nicasio and Tom Callway.
What the fuck happened? Good evening and welcome to Chasing Prophecy on 107.7 in New Orleans and 105.3 in Mississippi. I'm Jenny Nicasio along with my co-host, Tom Callway. And I'm trying to say we're broadcasting on many different platforms tonight, including Roku and TikTok. Unfortunately, I have to give it to Tom because I got to figure out how to make my screen big so TikTok can see it.
Yes. So, Jenny, go ahead and make sure you do that. No problem right there. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Prophecy. And I want to get into what we're doing today. Well, why are we here today? Today is our last show before Roswell's infamous crash in 1947. And so we needed to talk about it. We love Roswell. We love UFOs. We know you do as well. So we have a wonderful guest with us, and we'll get to her in a little bit. But we need to remind everybody what Roswell was, because Jenny, this is going to be sad, but I'll tell you this. Our intern had no idea what Roswell was.
Oh, get out.
I am not lying. They had no idea what Roswell was. They said, oh, that was a real thing. They thought it was made up in movies. And so maybe people out there, younger generations, things like that, maybe they don't know what Roswell is. So we need to remind everybody a little bit what Roswell was and the significance it had to our population. So I'm going to play this little summary TikTok for everybody.
Okay, one moment. I don't think we're broadcasting live on TikTok.
You don't?
I don't see now on my end because I just don't. If anybody out there can, I'm not pulling it up on my TikTok page. There's nothing. There's no live.
Yeah, I see you're live. Yep,
Well,
there we
how come
are.
I can't see it?
Look here, Jenny.
Well, how come I can't see it on my TikTok?
Because it's your TikTok.
Well, how am I supposed to answer questions? Okay, I'll go on a different. I'll go on. I have another account. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I'm so rude.
No, you're good. So, yep, we are live on TikTok. So at least we know it's working, Jenny.
Yeah.
At least that part.
At least we know it's working. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. But hopefully you didn't kick yourself off. But yeah, no, we have a wonderful show. We have a great guest that's here. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. And talk some weird UFO alien stuff, right?
That sounds good.
All right. So let's see. Let's go ahead and play this summary TikTok and have everybody just pay attention to how important Roswell was.
Happened in Roswell, New Mexico. On July 7, 1947, rancher McBrazel hauled in strange debris to the sheriff's office in Roswell, claiming that a UFO had crashed at his ranch. Immediately, the military got control of the situation and reported in the Roswell Daily Record that a flying saucer had crashed. However, 24 hours later, the military retracted its statement and instead said it was just a weather balloon. When officials asked to see the original debris collected, the military denied the request, saying that it was sensitive scientific equipment. Was the military trying to cover up a real UFO crash? Even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, many people are still wondering what actually happened in Roswell, New Mexico. On July 7, 1947, rancher Meg Prassel hauled in strange debris to the sheriff's office in Roswell, claiming that a UFO had crashed at his ranch. Immediately, the military got control of the situation and reported in the Roswell Daily Record that a flying saucer had crashed. However, 24 hours later, the military retracted its statement and instead said it was just a weather balloon. When officials asked to see the original debris collected, the military denied the request, saying that it was sensitive scientific equipment. Was the military trying to cover up a real UFO crash? Even though you can watch the full video by clicking on the link in the description below, many people are still wondering.
So that was a little summary of the crash in Roswell and everything that happened right there in and about. You have the cover up. It has all the makings, Jenny, of a wonderful UFO story. You have the cover up slide. You have the UFO crash. You have something in that's extraterrestrial or supernatural, an element there. And
Right back.
spoilers such as you don't have spoilers such as social media and things like that telling people that, hey, it's not real, it's fake. People were still tuning into the news at this point. People still, listened to the news, did everything. And what can you say about it? So we're waiting for our looks like her device is not connected. Birdie, if you can hear me, please connect your device. We can add you on. But we have a wonderful, special guest that's from Albuquerque that's going to the Roswell Festival. I gotta say, I'm jealous about that because I wish I was out there. There always seems to be something with me and the desert, right? I've been out to Vegas a few times. I've been out to Nevada, California, all that kind of stuff. But in the desert, there's just more lights in the sky. There's just more atmosphere about it. So I can't wait to pick somebody's brain on it, And Nicole, I see you over there. Good. It looks like you too with the you're over there. I forgot you're in the California desert. So I know you've seen a lot of stuff. You're a very good reporter to Beyond the Radar News and putting in all of your wonderful stories, videos, things like that. And yeah, so how's the TikTok going there?
It's just on the one. It's only on your page. It's not on my page for some reason.
Did you go live?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I did. It's live, but it's just showing up on yours. I can go check again, but I can't. If I minimize it, go ahead. I'll try again.
Yeah, go ahead. So, yeah, we're just chilling out, waiting here for Birdie to hop on, and gonna do some cool things. Definitely cool things. Talk about some cool items. That's for sure. But Roswell essentially was especially mine, first toe in the water when it comes to UFO stories. As you get more involved with it, you learn about like Kecksburg and Mount Rainier, Mount Shasta, Phoenix Lights. You learn about all the other smaller ones, and yeah, you learn about all the smaller ones. You don't really, that's not first. That's not first in your line in your story. It's definitely Roswell. So, for people my age and a little bit older, your parents were alive during it. They can tell you what the hysteria was. They can tell you what everything was like. And, just a wonderful story. Did you get it?
No, it's just not. It's only playing on yours for some reason. That's okay. Well, maybe
Which
next
account
week.
did you sign in with?
It's my regular account. I see my picture, but it's not playing. It's not playing on my TikTok. But that's okay. I don't know why.
So whichever one you signed in with on the studio.
Yeah, it's playing on yours, not on the one I made. My regular TikTok. No, it's not. It's not playing. I don't know why. It's just
Hmm.
not. It's not.
So you won't be able to see it. Other people would be
No,
able to
I
see
can see it on my phone. I should be
it.
able to
Okay.
see it on my phone. It's not because it's not saying I'm live. No, that's all right. I don't know what's
The
going on with
Jan
it.
Ma Love.
Yeah, Gemma Love. That's
Yeah,
it.
I see that it's not
It's not
playing there.
playing. Yeah, so I don't know why it's not. Well, we can just get on with the show.
Well,
Although
back to the drawing board.
it says it's just not. It's all I see it there. It's just not hooking up, and you can't do it on this one because I. I mean, I can't. You said we'll hear an echo, right?
Yeah, yeah. You would be playing also the YouTube one, but
Yeah.
this is why we have interns, ladies and gentlemen. People to
Hmm.
understand the stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Um, and one thing also is I'm waiting on our guest to connect her device.
What happened? She
It's
was fine.
she was.
That's all right. Well, we can
Um,
get on and talk. Well, 1947, there was
yep.
supposedly been a crash landing. The townspeople were told by the government that it was a weather balloon, and we all know it wasn't. And did you play any of these? We can play the TikTok about the Roswell festival that starts, or
Yeah, go ahead and let's go ahead and
Thousands of
play that so
UFO
people
and
can
space
understand.
enthusiasts visit Roswell, New Mexico to attend the Roswell UFO Festival, a 3-day event fueled by the Roswell incident when an aerial object crashed near Roswell in 1947. It's fun for the whole family. Don't be surprised when you see tourists dressed up in costumes that are out of this world.
That looks like something you would wear, Jenny. The big green alien eyes and things like that. Um, but Roswell's a wonderful, yeah, just another balloon, right? Nicole, I can't believe that they started that. So anybody who doesn't know, Roswell was confirmed as a crash flying saucer, right? It was confirmed. People saw, media saw it, newspapers, because those were the real beat reporters in the day. They went out, they saw it, everything was good. And later, with the hysteria and the fact that they didn't know what it was, and whatever reason, you use your reason, not mine, for the cover up, they decided to say it was a downed weather balloon. And that's where you see the modern day pictures of a guy like kneeling in front of like it almost looks like aluminum foil and things like that. And he's just, not, there's no way the storm would have been as big as it was over a downed weather balloon. People had said that this craft was 10 to 12 feet,
yeah,
in diameter, because it was a saucer. So the best way I can tell people who don't know is a saucer. Think of like a standard dinner plate and then put another one on top of it upside down. That's how it looks.
hmm
And when you have a saucer like that, that's a hard metallic shape that crashed into the ground, into the side of a little hill, I believe. And then when it came out 2 days later, they had all of this almost like the top of. Anybody remember Jiffy Pop? It looked like the top of Jiffy Pop, aluminum, and this guy was like holding it, and it was almost like a fabric or like paper almost. This, it's a picture. We actually had a guest, Jenny, and I forget his name, who said his father worked on Roswell as a photographer. I cannot remember his name, but it's definitely back there in the archives. But please go ahead and listen to him, because he had some interesting stories about that as well. But he did mention that his father was sworn to secrecy. His father was couldn't talk about it at home. It caused some problems. I think he said
hmm
that he started drinking more. I think he said
Oh,
that, but I don't want to put that in his mouth if he didn't. Um, And yep. So thank you, Nicole. Yep, we're on the Page's TikTok, so we got half of it right. We'll work on the other
yeah.
half.
We have to start. Yeah, we should have tested it today, but I thought we got up and running,
We
but
did.
yeah. So our guest, she was fine. I'm not sure what happened. She needs to connect her microphone and she was fine. I don't know what happened, but anyways.
I sent an email
Did you
just
send?
in case there was some technical issues, but
Mhm.
that's okay. We can turn her loose whenever she gets on. She's a pro podcasting professional, multiple media appearances and things like that.
Mhm.
So as much as things change, Jenny, They really don't. The government's response, let's talk about Roswell in this way. The government's response was, this isn't it. This wasn't what you thought. This is a downed weather balloon, and everybody who lived there didn't see what they said they saw.
Yeah.
And this was in 1947. What's different between now and 1947? With no computers back then. Cars are different.
Mm-hmm.
You can go anywhere. You can ship anything overnight now. You can buy from the window. A computer was never invented. So think of it as just a window. You can buy something and it's at your house the next day.
Yeah.
So as much as things change, Jenny, they kind of stay the same.
Yeah, but it's, it's like even them saying that the creatures or beings that were on it, there wasn't any when they sent it to Ohio for testing.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
they made up that whole story.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, is I don't believe any part of that material went to Area 51, but Area 51 is what's on everybody's mouth, everybody's, the top of their head. Wright-Patterson has probably more material passed through it than Area 51. You also have Nellis right there above Las Vegas as well. There's a ton of places that handle material that we don't really know about. And for what it's worth, congrats to the government for being able to hide it in plain sight, not have us question it. But you're right. I forgot about that. There were 3 entities recovered. And I believe now I've watched so many things about this that it's all starting to run together over my life. But I believe there were 2 outside and 1 inside. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
And
well, go ahead.
If the 2 outside died, right, and 1 inside died, whether it was then or later, and this we're to believe this, it actually makes the argument that these are extraterrestrial or from another planet, not the interdimensional, because they wouldn't be able to die here. The same reason, in the same voice as we haven't found a Bigfoot, because if he's interdimensional, he we only see him in his element, not ours. But I don't write the rules. I have no idea what the rules are anymore, I'll tell you that. But we have to take their word that they admitted there were bodies there, and then all of a sudden, no, they're not. It's the same thing they would do in 2024. If that happened right now out in the Southwest, it's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, they kept on changing it. They kept on saying it was a weather balloon, and then they kept on, there was Jesse Marcel, and there's sort of skepticism about it, and there was discussions, people were talking about it for, oh my God. I mean, the incident has stood the test of time. I mean, so you hear recent developments that it could mean that it was true. I mean, there was things about Area 51. It wasn't called Area 51 back then. It was just Walker.
It was SR2, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't talking. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like there's the media coverage. They wanted to believe it, but they would have pieces of tinfoil. It's like, no.
Yeah. It's an infamous image. I know if you Google it, you will probably have seen it at some point throughout your life. This guy's just in the middle of tinfoil saying this is all it was. If that's all it was, there is nobody, and I mean nobody, that would have confused that with a flying saucer. They said this was one attached object that was just hunked into the ground. How it came down, we don't know. Why it came down, we don't know. But let me ask you a little Area 51 and Roswell adjacent question. Do you believe there are tunnels under the desert?
Oh my God, yes. There's numerous tunnels under the ground, and there's some in the mountainside.
I agree too. If you want to transport something very secretive, you're not putting that on a road. I'll tell you that. They own massive amounts of boring equipment. And I've heard this. I can't really say if it's true or not, but I've heard that the substructure underneath the desert is easier to bore through than like if they were over here with like the sheetrock and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, multiple people have speculated that there's bunkers and in like interconnected high-speed rail that are underneath there that transport material, weapons, supplies, you name it, from one base to another. I don't know. If you can build a subway system, you're saying you can't build this when you can write your own. They can print their own money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fascinating idea. It's a fascinating concept, and I mean fantastical is what I meant by that. Birdie was not having technical difficulties because she's the best one to answer this, but I was on one of her podcasts months ago, and she was mentioning Roswell and with Roswell Fest, and she's actually going to be going there to the Roswell site, which is not close. Roswell's the closest town. That's
Mm-hmm.
why they call it Roswell, but it's actually a little bit outside of it. And they're going there with a group of people, and they got the security permits because you have to be permitted to be even on that piece of land. They snatched it up from their owners, eminent domain, you know how it goes. And now it's like a sighted off. It's just like emptiness, but they blocked it off. Nobody can go on there.
Yeah,
They
you
got the
can't.
permits.
And you know what? It's funny that the eyewitnesses, including the military personnel who in the local residents who claim to have seen the debris and the bodies at the crash site. So, and these testimonies are so real, but they often are dismissed by the officials. Now, why? I mean, if the military actually said they saw the debris and the beans on it, the creatures, and the townspeople they've seen it, but then they were told that they had to be quiet. It's just, and where did they take them? They took them to the research center, but then at the research center, some people think that they were still alive up until recent.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
That is
And
kind of
then
crazy.
they talk about the 1990s when the government revealed that the debris was likely from Project Mongol, or whatever you call it, a top secret project involving high altitude weather balloons. And they said that the Soviets were using tests. That was the Soviets, and I don't know.
Yeah. I think what all right, let's try to take a false reality here, right? Because I do believe it was extraterrestrials, but let's just for the good of the show humor this, okay? 1947, you're in the very, very beginning of the start of the Cold War with the Russians. You just got rid of Hitler and the Japanese, and you just, World War II's over, and you start, rebuilding, you start giving money, and here comes the Soviets, who damn well helped you, but you can't admit it. No, they didn't save us, but their strategic ally opening that second front allowed us to win. So now you kind of have two big guys on the playground, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have those two, and then 2 years later, only 2 years later, you come out and say, I don't know what this is. You admit to not being the best in front of your own media, your own people, your own country. I think they had to do it as a directive from a non-governmental agency. Somebody had to say, we need to keep this going. We need to keep building up our arms. We have to use this. And I think a part of it, Jenny, was using it as leverage to get more money to put into weapons development and things like that.
Could be if they were working with the EBE, if they were working with it. But what was really cool that I found really interesting is Glenn Dennis in the alien bodies. He was a mortician.
Mm-hmm.
And he was he claimed he saw it, and he was told that they needed childlike caskets. and they were supposed to be sent to Roswell Army Airfield Hospital. So, according to him, he believes that some of them died. Well, there was 3, and
Mm-hmm.
I think they had one that survived, and they needed 2 caskets. So he claimed, no, he's probably dead by now, but he claimed that they told him that he needed to get them childlike coffins and send out there. That's kind of crazy.
That
It's
is that is crazy. I personally think people back then were probably a little more believable because your word still went a lot further. So I don't think that, you're always going to have crazy people, but I think that they had individuals there of upright, respectable citizens. You know what I mean? That's what I think. And it totally makes sense that it's childlike. Oftentimes, the most common UFO sighting, or I'm sorry, extraterrestrial sighting, is a gray, right? And uniformly, up, down, left, and right, many of them say, oh, they're about 3.5 to 4.5 feet tall. That's exactly a child's height.
Yeah.
So it makes total sense with that. Now, when they went there and they sent them down in the caskets to study them, I want to ask, how much do you think you learned from that when they're already dead?
Well, they probably could learn a lot from their, I think if they did like the alien autopsy film that was a big controversy in 1995. Do you remember that?
I remember that. It was on Fox. Fox aired it.
Yeah. They claimed to show a government inducted autopsy from an alien from Roswell, which, yeah, I remember watching it. So, I mean, back then in 1995, they didn't have as great, CGI like we have now. And I think it
No.
could have been real. I don't know. Wasn't it Geraldo that did it? Wasn't it? Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think he did
Well,
it.
he hosted it, right?
Yeah, he hosted it. Yeah, that was really crazy.
And Nicole with a question. I wonder what kind of DNA or blood type they might have. You see, here's the thing, Nicole. I don't even know if they have blood. I don't even know if they have DNA. I don't even know.
According to the X-Files, it was black blood.
Black blood. I watched that episode. That
Yes.
episode was based on a true story, by the way.
I know it was.
Yeah,
That's what's
I watched that
interesting.
episode. Yeah, Mulder bought a tape that was. Oh, and how funny was that in the episode that the tape was $29.95 for a VHS? That's ridiculous. Keep in mind it's 1995 pricing, so it's probably like $50 in today's time. So, but with I saw that video. I saw it played. I saw it aired. I saw reruns, and then History Channel, like they'll show clips of it, like in their Ancient Aliens and things like that. They took every precaution, but in the end, it's just a guess, right? You don't know what. Say their blood, like the movie Alien, could cut through and rip a hole in their hand or something.
Yeah,
it could be acidic.
There's just so many things you can think about. I mean, on the X-Files, they talked about the Project Blue Book. And what is that? I just got a text minute from somebody that says I'm at my wit's end. Okay. All right. I am
Maybe
at
it's
my
from
wit's
Ticketmaster.
Maybe it is.
Did you get an email from them about 10 minutes before we went on?
Ticketmasters?
I got an email that said you had recently bought tickets within the last 5 years and they had a data breach.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, but getting back to Project Blue Book.
Yes.
No, a lot of people don't know what Project Blue Book is.
Okay, well, let me elaborate on that because, again, our intern didn't know what Project Blue Book was, and I had to teach that this afternoon already. So it's fresh in my mind. I believe Roswell was the catalyst for starting Project Blue Book, even though it was a few years later. It was late 50s to 60s, to late 60s. Even though it was then, I think the government needed to put individuals in place. And here's how I drew a comparison with her. I said, do you know during, the pandemic, there was people and they wanted to get PPP loans and they made this special group that would allow people to get PPP loans. I said, just instead of with money in COVID, think of it as to investigate UFOs. And it started by the wonderful Dr. J. Allen Hynek, who was a skeptic. He wanted to just study satellites and be a theoretical physicist. And he, by the end of Project Blue Book, was convinced that we don't know everything, and UFOs, anomalies, paranormal, and extraterrestrial creatures exist. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But anyway, it was started as a government's response to increased, and that's the key word, increased unidentified flying objects. And they wanted a group to come in and debunk all of it and say, oh, this is that. This is a solar flare. This is, swamp gas. This is the reflection of a plane, whatever it might be, whatever atmospheric conditions, whatever planet was in the area. They wanted them to go in and say that. Well, J. Allen Hynek was not a government official. He was not a military man. He was a scientist. His allegiance wasn't to, well, it is to the United States, but he was to science more than he was the military. So when he went in, they thought they were getting someone just to be, all right, I'm a nerd, I'm going to sign off on all this stuff. He actually conducted the experiments. He went out and talked to people. It reminds me, Jenny, a little bit about when I asked you about MUFON, when your MUFON cases. He did that at all of these major sites, Hopkinsville with the goblins, Roswell. He did. It was over by the Phoenix Lights, but there was many, many more UFOs and paranormal and even cryptids into the like goblins, I believe, and different creatures all throughout Ohio. Flatwoods, I couldn't think of the name. Flatwoods Monster. They went out and checked everything. In the span of, now it's a long time. I think it was 12 years. But in the span of 12 years, there were almost 13,000 cases he did. Now, just do the math. That's a lot of time out on the road. That's a lot of time to go research. He did, and this is fair, he did debunk about 92% of them. He did. But there and some, and this is a number that I looked up earlier, 700 and some out of that 13,000 that he said, this is real. And those ones are still declassified.
Yeah. They are still.
Yeah. So, he didn't have any horse in the race. He wanted to study satellites. He only got into it because of Sputnik, and he was kind of duped at first because with Sputnik, they said, we want to launch a satellite. Everybody knows the Russians launched something into space first. It's just a fact. I want to help my country. And then they duped him. They thought he thought he was going to be doing that. They moved into the UFOs and things like that. So, brilliant man. He actually invented the close encounter scale. Do you know the close encounter scale?
No, why don't you elaborate?
Sure. So everybody's probably heard of the most famous movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, right? The Spielberg movie. That's actually factual. So a close encounter of the third type, I'm going to start there because that's the medium, is when you see the actual entity. Okay. The entity gets off the craft. You see him walking around. Close encounters of the second kind is you see a unidentified flying object confirmed in the sky. And that's that. Close encounter of the first kind is you see an unidentified light in the sky. You don't know if it's a craft. You just see it. It's a light, but it's a UFO. So that's one. Two, you see it in the sky. It's an actual visible craft. It lands. You can see it. And there's evidence. I'm sorry. Let me put it this way. It's close encounters of the second kind there's physical evidence. So there's radiation left behind. There's an indent in the ground. There's burning. If it burned like a hole in the ground, there's burning that way. Third is when you see the actual entity off the craft, not through a window, not anything like that, but it's walking around. That's the third kind. The fourth kind is where he stops, but there is a fifth kind I'll get into. The fourth kind is an alien abduction.
Oh, yeah.
You are taking out of your home onto the craft, and that is a close encounter of the fourth kind. That's where he stopped. Now, if he created this scale and he'd been to all those people and he made that, Don't you believe some of those people actually did get abducted and there's proof?
Mhm.
And they're probably some of the 700 that are still locked up.
Most
That's what
definitely.
he did. Dr. Stephen Greer came up with the fifth kind. And this is a little controversial because there's really not a way to prove it. It's when people meditate and feel that they make a connection with
I mean,
an alien,
channeling.
like
Like
Bashar.
Bashar.
Yes. So he is doing, when you see his TikToks or you see his YouTube videos and things like that, that is him channeling, and that is a fifth kind.
Oh.
Now, why Bashar's went through tests, and you can see medical tests of, hey, his cognition's not on. He's, he's not talking, but he's talking type of thing with brain scans and all of that.
He's like channeling. It's definitely.
Yes. So, that is what the fifth kind is. And before we forget, let's do our wonderful smart labels read, Jenny. How about I do that, and then we go to commercial?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Summer's officially here, and time to pack away the winter items. And there is a product called Smart Labels. Let me tell you, your future self is going to love you for getting this. Here's how it works. You buy the Smart Labels QR code labels on Amazon and stick them on your storage bin, boxes, tote, anything that closes and you can't see what's in there. Download the Smart Labels app from either the Google Play or iOS App Store. Scan the QR code and catalog all the stuff you put into the bin with a name, description, and a picture. Then months down the road, when you are looking for that thing you stored somewhere, you can just search in the app and it will tell you where you put it. My summer or winter clothes, bin 7. That purse that came back in style, oh look, bin 5. Seriously, people are calling it organizing magic. So if you're going to do some summer cleaning and get ready for a summer move or just want to get organized for the fall, you need to check out Smart Labels on Amazon. That's Smart Labels, one word, and get started with your Smart Labels pack today.
Survives a tragic accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Over the centuries, occurrences from the enigmatic realm have become less, enigmatic. So if conversations about the supernatural, myths and legends, mind-bending conspiracies, and haunting stories of cast that you can call home, Chasing Prophecy. Just because something is unexplained doesn't make it any less real. We're more than just a podcast. We're a community for those who dare to look beyond the scope of normal. For those who are aware of the abstract and interact with a show that speaks to them. Broadcasting from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, the show stands out as the city's premier paranormal radio program, airing every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Come and hang with host Jenny Nicasio and Tom Conway on Chasing Prophecy.
Meet Daniel Knight, a psychologist with an extraordinary gift to absorb and heal the deepest wounds of the mind. In the heart of a chilling investigation, every secret unraveled binds him closer to darkness. But as he delves into the psyche of a killer, his own demons emerge. Caught in a battle within and against an evil that seeks to exploit his powers, where the line between savior and victim blurs. Dare to heal the wounds of the mind. Healer. Read it today.
Welcome to the extraordinary world of the Chasing Prophecy radio show, where we delve into the mysteries of the universe and the depths of the human mind. Our listeners are a unique blend of curious minds and adventurous spirits, always eager to learn, explore, and discover. They're not just listeners, they're a community. And what better way to reach this vibrant, engaged audience than by advertising with us? When you advertise on Chasing Prophecy, you're not just buying airtime. You're becoming a part of a conversation, a part of our family. We offer a variety of advertising packages tailored to fit your needs and budget. And with our dedicated team, we'll ensure your message resonates with our listeners. So why wait? Grab this opportunity to amplify your brand with Chasing Prophecy Radio Show. Let's embark on this journey together. Chasing Prophecy Radio Show, where your brand meets our community. Fill out our advertising form on our website, www.chasingprophecyradio.net, to get started. That's www.chasingprophecyradio.net to get started.
All right. Welcome back, everybody.
So I wonder what happened to our guest, because for being some professional podcaster,
I know. No, I know.
Oh, well, we'll just go move on and talk about the other topics before we have to get out of here.
I don't know what happened there. But yeah, no, we have some other interesting things. Let me start with this one, and we'll react to it.
Vicious as shit, and nobody is talking about it. Not even the Federal Reserve. They haven't even came out and said whether or not this happened. Supposedly, though, they were hacked by a group called Lockbit, and they stole 33 terabytes of data from the Federal Reserve. Let's talk about it. Who is Lockbit? Lockbit is a group of hackers that has ties to Russia, we think. But either way, they have been responsible for some of the biggest hacks in history. And if the Federal Reserve hack turns out to be true, it will be the biggest U.S. bank hack ever. This is a screenshot from Lockbit's website. You can see that they gave us until today, at this time, to make some type of negotiation to get these 33 terabytes of American secrets back. If not, they're going to release them. Here's the gag. Federal Reserve has not commented on this. They haven't said whether or not we've been hacked or not. But in this little second paragraph right here, you can see they say y'all better hire someone better because they only valued American secrets at $50,000. If Lockbit has ties to Russia and the United States just put all those sanctions in, what do y'all think's going on? We have until today to make some type of deal with this Lockbit group. Do you think the Federal Reserve is going to come out and say that we actually did get hacked and admit that it was the largest bank hack in U.S. history?
Very, very interesting with that. Well, I can tell you this. They didn't hack anything into my account.
God bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, they didn't hack anything into my account. I can tell you that.
But hack something into my account.
Yeah. Lockbit. Remember us, Chasing Prophecy. It's www.chasingprophecy.net. So, but more serious though. The Federal Reserve is the ocean, right? And all of the banks are the lakes and the rivers and all of that leads into where all of our money is.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they didn't try to offer $50,000 for that because that is ridiculous and a joke and a slap to all of our face. But that might only be worth what our bank accounts hold. Money isn't real, right? So let me tell you about Lockbit. I worked in IT, and I had something similar to this happen to me. This was back when I was working as a Google and Verizon subcontractor in King of Prussia, Pennsylvania. Somebody in the sourcing department opened a personal email with an attachment on it that wasn't from who they thought it was, and it spread throughout the whole file system of the company, right? The company was called a BitLocker virus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working in IT. The BitLocker comes up to all of the files that it got to before our firewall stopped it. All of those files that got hit, when you clicked on it, this sort of page opened up and said, if you pay X amount of dollars in Bitcoin, we will release your files. We will give you the encryption key and release it. Now, we are a company that had backups upon backups upon backups, so we were able to get to go back to and only lose about 5 hours worth of work. You know what I mean? So we had the proper things in place. However, I wanted to learn more about that type of virus, right? So I went and I looked it up. And do you know that these smart SOBs, if you paid that money in Bitcoin, they did release your files and never bothered you again.
Just because you took your money. They're
Yeah,
scammers.
they are scammers. They are scammers, but they're scammers who actually do it because they know if they don't do it and they destroy it anyway, they're never going to get any money.
Mhm.
People are going to talk and all of that. So these guys actually did release your stuff and said, "Will never happen. It will never happen to you again." And that's that. So now take that to the 50th degree with the Federal Reserve. They're looking for billions, probably
Mhm.
billions from that.
Billions. $1 billion.
Yes, yeah, Vinny, me included. You know, that's how I view us in that rocket ship around that round table when we're talking about our projects.
Yeah.
We're that evil organization with Dr. Evil.
I just watched Austin Powers last night.
You did? So it's fresh in your mind.
Second, yeah. Yes.
Mini-Me's dead, right?
Yeah, he died. A lot of them. Yeah, he died. Somebody else on the show died too. I can't remember who it was. Oh, who knows? Go.
Oh, it was number 2. Number 2 died.
Number two.
Yeah. I forgot. Robert Wagner?
Yeah, Robert Wagner.
Yeah, he passed away.
Yeah.
All right,
yes,
let's get to our other video because this was about the debate, and we have to talk about that.
Sleepy Joe. Yeah, that was a pecan.
Whose TikTok was acting up. Like, the presidential debate started at 9 p.m. and all of the sudden, my entire TikTok app was not working right.
Mine too.
The videos weren't playing. I got 0 notifications. Hell, my entire profile was acting weird. My internet was working fine. My TV was playing just fine. All my other social media apps were working just fine. But for some odd reason, TikTok telling me, oh, no internet connection.
That's because Biden is working with China.
Well, mine wasn't working. Was yours? Were you doing anything?
I was
during
watching the debate. I wasn't on TikTok. I was just listening to it and just cracking jokes between whoever was watching it with me and eating popcorn because it was such a embarrassment. It was such an embarrassment that he is our leader. He's the leader of the free country, and it's an embarrassment. And Jill, she should be put away for for doing that to her husband. What kind of wife would put her husband in that kind of predicament, embarrassing him like that? He has dementia. He shouldn't even be out there.
No. And it's those in power will do anything to stay in power, right?
Well, there was a lot of big speculation that they were grooming Big Mike for it. So I don't know if that's true or not. The reason why I think they're going to keep Biden is because he can pardon his son if when he leaves office. Because he's going to be charged with a lot more crimes.
Yeah, but if he can, in exchange for bowing out, he can just have them sign something that he can have anybody do that.
I don't think. And the funny thing is that they CNN and everybody. Oh, I didn't know he was that bad. Yes, you did. I mean, we've been talking about this for months, and they kept on calling it. What were they calling it? Oh God, what was it calling it?
That he was sick, or
well, no, they were saying that we were fudging. The conservatives were fudging the videos. What were they using? Some kind of term they were using. You know what it is, Nicole?
Like doctoring.
Yeah, but they used a name. They had a name for it. They kept on saying shadows. I don't know what it was. Some goofy thing. It was just an embarrassment, and now that the Supreme Court got Trump immunity, and it's like, okay, what are they going to do now? How about that one guy, that one TikTok? You know which one I'm talking about? He said that the Secret Service can go in there and take him out or something, or the Navy SEALs or something. It was all over the news. It was on TikTok. The kid, I can't remember what the
to take out Biden.
No, take out Trump. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name. Hamill. I forget his name. It was a kid.
Not sure who that one is, but Look, I don't think Biden's going to run. I think he's going to step down. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't think they will put somebody who's not in a current office up. So I think maybe a Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, it was probably going to be Camilla and oh, what's that kid's name? I'm trying to find that kid, the teenager. It was all over the internet today. It was all over Fox News and X, and he tweeted something or X'd. I don't know what you want to call it.
He X'd it.
He X'd it.
Well, Nicole shares our sentiments. I hope he steps down. I do too. But you're right, Jenny. Shame on the people who put him up there. Shame on the people that thought it was a good idea. I floated this idea too, trying to put myself in that mindset. I floated the idea that he wasn't going to step down unless they embarrassed him, and they put him out there to embarrass him.
Yeah. I don't know why they would. No, I don't think so, because it's been going on for I don't know how long that they were standing by him, and all of a sudden they're not standing by him. They just figured it out now. I know the whole thing was rigged. I don't know. Everything was rigged. Even the debate was rigged because they were putting shit in his head, saying for him to say stuff.
There were cues. There were visuals. And he knew the questions beforehand. Even afterward, Dana Bash said that. But everything was a mistake. Everything on that was a mistake. If I was on that team, I wouldn't have even put him on the right side. I would have put him on the left side, where he's looking towards the middle, not off to the side. I don't know how you can say you care about somebody and let them up there for an hour and a half. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It was ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. But we are celebrating the 4th of July on Thursday, so I'm hoping that it'll be a good one and nothing crazy, because there's a lot of speculation that there's going to be some kind of a, 4th of July
event
that's going to take place, because, and that's
we
just
have
something.
a wonderful. I said a wonderful comment from GGRN 103. They knew the whole time Biden was a fit, because someone else is the president, like Obama, and they have no choice but to have him step down as unfit. That's what I said. I said they put him out there to see. All right, you don't have it. You don't have it anymore. Look at you. You got to get out. And yes, GGRN 103 on TikTok. Thank you. Probably our first comment.
Well, that's because we're not on our my TikTok has more. This is
she does. Yeah, people like Jenny better than me. I don't get it.
No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No. I have a lot of. I'm boosting up my following, and I do lives all the time, and they're notified when I do a live. And hopefully next
your
week,
lives are good. And Jenny's a great follow. You want to give your handle?
What? My
give your
handle?
Yeah.
It's Gemma Love. Gemma.
Okay.
I'm a grandmother.
Gemma Love.
Gemma
but she's
Love.
a great follow. She's always insightful. It's always poignant.
It's because I'm always caffeinating when I go on. No, well, Nick, we tried to get this up and running today. I was in the swimming pool, and Tom got me out of the pool, and we thought it was up and running. And next week we're gonna try this. We're gonna have to do a live this weekend. We're gonna have to do one to a practice run, and we're just gonna have to do it because we got to get this running because
that's where you kids are, and we want to be in front of you.
Definitely, we want to be in front of you and talk about shit on Biden. No, okay.
Yeah.
No,
Whatever it is.
It's not like this show is about anything beyond the scope of normal, and our Biden is not normal. No.
Yeah.
And what's
So
going on in our country is not normal. And hopefully we'll get things straightened out, because I don't know what I'm going to do if in November Trump isn't the president. I think our whole country is going to we're going to get into a terrible war. We're not going to have money for nothing. 1984, here we come, totally, because I don't trust the government. I don't trust the Dems.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you're a Democrat and you're watching, I'm sorry, I don't trust you, because first of all, that just shows me you voted this guy in, and some of them are so woke they don't even know what's going on. This is our livelihood. This is our freedom. This is our country. We got to stick up for it. We need a commander in chief that is strong. And look, there's only 3 years difference between Biden and Trump. And look, the guy can't even,
yeah.
like we got rid of Medicare. What the hell is he talking about Medicare? What? If we did, he wouldn't be on president.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're gonna get kicked off. So
We will, and we're gonna get yelled at too.
Okay, Sean, we're gonna get off. Okay, Michelle, don't give us
the boot.
Don't give it to boot. Let me put the. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful 4th of July.
Yes.
Have a healthy 4th of July, and make sure you watch me and Tom this weekend. We're gonna try to do a live.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, great to see you all.